Hey, thank you for coming to Tori Magoo 44. That's my YouTube site. And it's also my site on TikTok now, which I just hit 200,000 subscribers. And if any of you subscribe to it, thank you. You know, you figure one of my 1 minute videos just made it to 1.8. Hey, Angel, 1.8 million, no, 2 million views. That's 2 million people that maybe never heard about Scientology. And they're younger people that I'm warning about it. And people from other countries who speak two languages, especially, because they're definitely after both. So anyway, hi, Unstoppable SP. How are you? It's always good to have an unstoppable SP there. I don't know too many that are stoppable, but I'm glad to know you're unstoppable. That's good. Like me, all right. The Elk of Antioch, hi. Hail, Princess Magoo of Western TGAC. Long may you reign supreme. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that the Elk of Antioch. I've been talking a while today. We won't even go there, but it's been a wild day. So let me write down Unstoppable SP. I will do that. And like you. All right. Okay. I speak two languages. All right. Well, be careful with Scientology. They're after people who speak two languages. Why? Because there's more people that you can get in touch with and contact. So they've already been through most of the English-speaking people. And so they're like, all right, let's move on. And one of the biggest ones is Latinos, Latinas. Really after them. And you know what? There's a lot of people who do speak Spanish or, of that. Hi, Lynette from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Cool. Thank you. I love that when you let me know where you're from. I appreciate that. I'm ex-Seor. Ooh, all right. So you definitely are unstoppable, SP. Good. Well, isn't that amazing? I put up a 1-minute video 3 days ago. 2 million views on it today. It's incredible. That's on TikTok. So some people from here may have gone and subscribed, and I really appreciate it because it really helped. It really did. So anyway, there you go. So I just did my first live stream on TikTok, and I could not figure out how to get out of it. So I thought, well, I'll just keep telling stories. It was very funny. It was just, I couldn't figure out how to get out of it. It doesn't have, like, this has certain very specific, you hit end stream and that's it. But TikTok doesn't. So anyway, there you go. It's kind of neat for me because that's how I got into live streaming, was TikTok. My friend Andrew, who's in Hollywood and never was in Scientology, but worked at the Egyptian right next to the testing center, called me last summer and he said, okay, you need to go on TikTok. And I said, Andrew, I don't do TikTok because I had tried it before and I just didn't get it. And so I said, I don't do it. And he goes, go on TikTok and type in Jessica Palmadessa. And I did. And I laughed and laughed and laughed. I thought, oh my God, these people, Jessica and Will, are so ahead of Scientology. It's amazing. They're not ready for this. And Jessica was very funny, and Will is out on the street. He has filmed the Police LA. So he's like incredible. And he happened to just walk by their testing center and they said, get off the street. You're not allowed here. And he went, pardon me? And this is a guy who works, handling the police and their different things that they screw up on. And he's like, pardon me, I can't be on this street. And that was the beginning of Will taking on the Church of Scientology. And thank you, Will. I will always thank you for it. And Jessica is funny as can be. So the two of them together are just a riot. Jessica Palmadessa, and he's Streets LA. That's his nickname on. It's either Streets LA or Film the Police LA. Both of them are cool to subscribe to. But anyway, Andrew got me started on it because I would have never in a million years gone into it. And I had kind of ended doing videos because, of COVID. And I was like, I don't really want to make videos about Scientology during COVID. And it just was like, it wasn't jumping. Hi, Connie B. And happy Wednesday night to all of you. So I was just sort of like, okay, maybe I'm done. And then Andrew got me watching Will and Jessica, and I was like, I got to meet these people. And I called Drew, who protests with me, and I said, we got to go meet these people. This is too much, because a bunch of the other kids had flown in from various different places to protest with them. Because, that was the other thing that happened. Someone happened to have, they each had, I think, 25 million subscribers on TikTok. And now someone had it canceled, both of their TikTok things. And that ticked off a lot of people. And Scientology, one of these days, you're going to learn that you think you can manipulate people, but you can't. I told you that when I was in. I said, you are creating your own enemies. And I told you that when I was out, when I went to Magoo Dancing in Boston that Bunker filmed. I said, you are creating your own enemies. I told you that when I was in, and now I'm out. Here I am. It's like unbelievable. But they never learn. They never do. And that's their problem and not ours. So anyway, who would know that I'd end up on TikTok? What a riot. And in 3 days, putting up a 1-minute video, have 2 million subscribers. Or 2 million hits, 2 million likes. But I think it's, I forget how many. It's a lot of subscribers. It was really pretty wild scene. But it's Tori Magoo 44 there too. So you guys can go there if you want. Anyway, I love having you here. I love YouTube. I'm a YouTube fiend. I really am. I've been on YouTube since 2008 when Anonymous showed up. That's when Bunker brought over the webcam, and I said, what am I going to do with this? And he said, we're going to start your YouTube site. And you know the rest. Anyway, there you go. That's what happened. But what are the front groups of Scientology? I don't know if you all know them or not. They have Narconon, which they had in every single school here in California. So if you're a parent and you're in the United States and your kids are in any public school, check and see if they're using any information of L. Ron Hubbard's. That's what I would say. Don't say, are you a Scientologist? Because they'll say no. But are they using L. Ron Hubbard? Yeah, we're using Narconon. Okay. So it started with Dave Turetsky, who's a professor at Carnegie Mellon, and a bunch of people who helped him do research. And then at the end, he called me and he said, look, we've got to have somebody who was in who can confirm or deny what's being said. And I said, well, I'll do what I can do. Have the guy call me. So the journalist that was in San Francisco, and he called me. And it basically, the main quote for me in the newspaper was 100% Narconon is under the umbrella of the Church of Scientology International. So they can say they're an individual group, but they're all of these front groups are under the umbrella of the Church of Scientology. No question about it. And I know because I worked at Narconon Inn for a little bit, and every Thursday, all their statistics have to go up to where? RTC, the head of Scientology. Oh, yeah, CCHR, Sterling. Yeah, I put Y's in there. I did have that. I see what you're saying. I did them in the hashtags. I had WISE and CCHR. I don't think I had Sterling Management because that's a business, I believe. That's not really part of the church. It isn't. It's a private business. But anyway, the various groups are Narconon, which we got kicked out of every single public school in California. So that was good because they had to get out all the, it's church and state. That's in our Constitution that there has to be a division, and they couldn't change it. So bye. So that was that. And the next one is, let's see, there's Narconon, Criminon. Criminon's where they go into the prisons and supposedly help the prisoners, which not really. They give them the way to happiness, which is the same as the Bible's 10 Commandments, in kind of a varied way. But anyway, they have people that talk to the prisoners and stuff like that. But it's very expensive because somebody has to pay for the books. So then there's Applied Scholastics, which is the study tech in schools. So you have to check if you're a parent, if any of the L. Ron Hubbard study technology is being taught there or anything else. And Narconon, Criminon, Applied Scholastics, Way to Happiness, big money maker. Criminon, I said, and what was the one? WISE, that's right. WISE, which is their business section. And again, they say it's separate from the church. And it is in that they're a business, but they still report statistics up to Scientology. So they're all underneath the umbrella. Scholastics International, they have a Hubbard College, which is, again, another, bogus thing. YRB, hi, Tori, Chris. Hi, Tori. Question: what is the most common profession of public Scientologists, or is it a mix like the general public population? What's the most common profession? I have no idea. I think it's a mix. I really do. I think the biggest thing is a lot of Scientologists that are public have their own business because they don't want to pay someone else. So a lot of people have their own businesses, and that would be that. I would say that and sales. That's what I was in, with sales. And Scholastics International, I think if we're talking about the same thing, there's Applied Scholastics International, that's ABLE. That's what it's called, ABLE, applied, and it's Applied Scholastics, which has to do with the study tech. And then chiropractor, no, those are businesses. Those are private businesses. They may be Scientologists, but they're not front groups. They are in a way because they're always trying to recruit people into Scientology, but they're not organized front groups for Scientology. These other ones are organized, and they report the statistics up to RTC, which is Scientology's religious technology RT center, I think. It's the head thing where they report all the statistics. But chiropractors, again, that's their own business. It's another big business for Scientology. I'm thinking of Applied Scholastics. That's what I said, Applied Scholastics, yeah. But there's also the Hubbard College, which is another. I don't think the Hubbard College, I do not think is certified. Someone could check on that, and I'd like to know, because that used to be a question that would come up all the time. Are they certified? Are they certified? And to this day, I don't think they are, but they might be. I don't know. But I don't think so. I think we'd know it if they were. Okay, the Elk of Antioch says, I'm thinking of Applied Scholastics, yeah. Yeah, that's a big one for parents to check on in your schools, in your kids' schools, if they're using Applied Scholastics, study tech, anything having to do with Hubbard. I would check. I would sit down with them and say, look, you may have gotten into something that you don't really know how deep it is. You know what I mean? But I would like to help you. And I want to make sure my child is in a safe environment. And these guys, I would not call safe. I mean, they're racist. Hubbard was a racist. They're anti-medicine for the most part. I mean, they'll let you take an antibiotic or something like that, but they're pretty anti-medicine. They try to now say, oh, no, we're all for medicine. No, they're not. They're not. And it's part of their brainwashing. So anyway, thank you all for coming on. Make sure you hit the like button. I don't know. The Unstoppable SP. Where were you in the Sea Org? Can you tell me? You don't have to if you don't want. Hi, Cinderella. I know, it's pretty cool. I mean, you figure 2 million people, and mostly younger people, have found out about Scientology that didn't know about it. And you can tell by their questions, they're real younger people that know nothing about it for the most part. And hopefully we'll be able to educate them some more. Okay, Lynette, hi. What about ABC Mouse? Isn't that owned by a big donor, Whale? See, those kind of things, they're still private businesses. They may be donating tons of money to Scientology, but just like anyone, not that they're the same, but anyone donating to any charity, if you have a business, that doesn't mean you're part of the business. I'm talking about, these are front groups for Scientology, that they're dedicated, they're staff members that are on staff running Way to Happiness, Narconon, Criminon, Applied Scholastics, WISE. They all have staff that run that are part of the Church of Scientology International. I don't care what they say. That's the facts. So there you go. Those are the front groups. And I would say stay far, far away from them. And if you're a parent, make sure you check and see if any of this is happening in your kid's school. Because we were shocked when we found out Narconon was in all the public schools in California. It's kind of freaky. It really was. Okay, it's Mike Sandoval. All right. Hi, Mike. And then there are businesses that are owned and operated by Scientologists, but are not front groups. Exactly. That's a whole different subject that we should probably do. We got to collect them and the different. Remember they used to have, what was the name of that? It was a booklet of all the businesses, the Scientology businesses. I forget the name of it. Al Rabisi, I think, ran it. But I don't think they have it anymore, but it was really cool because you could find all the Scientology businesses real quickly. Hi, Mike Sandoval. Thanks for saying hi. David Jenkins. It's insane to me that Scientology continues to exist. I don't think you're alone on that. I think that's true for most people that understand the depth of abuse that they do. It's just, oh, Jendi. Okay, hi. I think you're right. Jendi, pardon me if you've already explained this. What is WISE? It's the World Institute of Scientology International. That's what it stands for. It's basically Scientology businesses where they use, hi, Sophie, where they use Scientology technology to run their business. And I worked at a couple of companies like that, and it was interesting. It wasn't good. Hare Krishna is exactly the same, is it? I didn't know that. Because they want Scientologists to use Scientology businesses. Sure. Sure. And they do, for the most part. They use Scientology chiropractors and Scientology businesses. And that's why I call it the Scientology Truman Show, because it's like, in the Truman Show, Truman was in an insulated, basically sound, movie studio, right? But he didn't know it. So everyone outside was turning on the Truman Show to watch it every day and talk about it, just like we're talking about this. But in the Truman Show, nothing. They were all part of the show, except Truman. He was the only one who didn't know until he woke up. But it was pretty cool. Front groups and businesses keep it all in the cult. Exactly, Mike. Yes. Insulated everything in how insulated. Yeah, it's insulated, isolated, exactly. And it's hard to get out. It really is. It's interesting to hear the TikTok kids. They're like, well, why can't you just walk out? And it's like, and people say, well, you can just walk out. And it's like, yeah, if you just walked in, you can walk out. But if you're in for 30 years, it's a different thing. Because they're like, why did you have to escape? Hi, Susie. Hi, David. A YouTuber called Lion Muse recently did a show where he highlighted clues that Joe Rogan might secretly be a Scientologist. Lots of clips from over the years that made you wonder, wow, interesting. That would be a little bit freaky, but I know who we can check with, and I'm not telling. Joe Rogan. All right, good to know. Wow, I got to check on that one. Thank you, David. Lion Muse. All right. He said that about Joe. Wow. Wouldn't that be freaky? That's how in Germany, they had Ursula Caberta, who was on the German government because of that, because they would have these different people that would basically be Scientologists, but they wouldn't say so in businesses. So they put Ursula on to check, and it's against the law there. Oren Kinsey T. Hi. Tiffany B. Blessings. Was just checking out Aaron's new video. Oh, good. Hi, Mike Slagle. Brainwashed to believe you cannot just walk out. Yeah. Right away. Oren Kinsey T. Can you see me here? I can. Yeah. David Jenkins. Sorry, Lion Muse. Brett. Hi, Tori. Hi, Brett. So for any of you who came on new, I just started doing a TikTok thing with a friend, and I put up one video 3 days ago, and it now has 2 million views. And that's fantastic, because that's 2 million people that didn't know about Scientology before. And you can tell from the comments they didn't know. They really didn't. And it's me warning them, young kids, to stay away, because they're after young kids, and people from other countries, especially if they speak 2 languages. I'm trying to find someone who speaks, Spanish or another language to make videos, because I think that would be really helpful. Hi, Brett. Oren Kinsey T. Thanks. And a link. What do you want to link to? Tiffany. That's so cool. I know. It's really amazing. To me, it makes me very happy, because it's educating the right people that they're after. You know what I mean? And letting them know, look out, they're after you. TikTok video you mentioned. Yeah, I know. Really cool. Oh, a link to it? You just go on TikTok and type in Tori Magoo 44, and it'll come up. I mean, I only have like 5 videos on there, and one of them is got 2 million views as of today. So there you go. That's awesome, Tori. So glad you joined TikTok. I know I would have never done it without a bunch of friends that are TikTok people, but they kind of encouraged me to do it. And I was like, all right, they really helped. And it really helped me. Hi, Tori. Now, this is username unknown. It's very early morning in my country. Okay. And YRB, congratulations on the great news. I know it's especially good news for young people because they're now learning about it, and people from other countries because they're really after them. They are. And I remember one time I went to an AMC here in Burbank, and they had their table set up and the e-meter. And I looked at the lady and I thought, this woman is brand new from another country. And I sat down, picked up the cans. She said, do you want a stress test? And I said, yeah, sure. And I picked up the cans and she said, okay, what's making you stressful? And I looked at her and I said, David Miscavige. I could see the meter in it, which means it had a big read on it. And I said, it had a read, didn't it? And she looked kind of surprised. And she said, yeah. And I said, yeah, I'm OT7. I'm a declared suppressive person. She said, you're kidding. And I said, no, I am. I mean, most Scientologists don't believe it because I'm a nice person. And, they build into their head how evil we are and stuff. And it's like, come on. So anyway, we had a good talk. But then this guy came running down from an AMC. Don't talk to her. Don't talk to her. She's declared suppressive. It's like, oh, God, Scientology, knuckleheads. Spreading the truth. That's right, Tiffany. Working on it. Thank you, YRB. I stand alone. Hi, Tori. Good morning from Scotland. All right. Thanks to you, I got the truth about drugs, the way to happiness, the CCHR, kicked out of our high school because I complained to the principal. And that's thanks to me. Don't blame me. Come on, that's not fair. God. You should go back and talk to your principal, because whether you go back to that school or not, you should go back to that principal and say, look, I want to take you out to dinner. I need to talk to you. You need to understand what's going on here, and hook her up with me or Xenu.net, just different books, stuff like that. So she gets an awareness, because that's what happens. They kind of brainwash them, and then they think, oh, Scientology is great. It's a religion. No, it isn't. Howard was against churches, angels, Jesus, everything having to do with church. He was totally against it. So you shouldn't have been kicked out. That's pathetic. Okay. This is hilarious? Okay. All right. Which part is hilarious? Username unknown. And Jen D, was the ArcLight affiliated with C of S? I know they are now defunct, but it was always a big rumor. I don't think they were connected with them, but Scientology would go in and buy all kinds of tickets. They'd buy up the whole place so that it was filled when, like, Tom Cruise videos or movies would come out and stuff. So it seemed like it, but it wasn't. They're not really connected. Hi, love it. Good to see you here. I'm now moderated on TikTok, and I got 2 million views as of today. And that's in 3 days, love it. In 3 days. And the reason that's exciting is a lot of these people are young people who know nothing about Scientology. And guess who's there to educate them? You got it. So everyone else is welcome to come. Username unknown. What you answered to the auditing question. What you answered to the auditing question. That's not a question, so I don't know what is. Oh, you're saying it's hilarious what I answered to the. Oh, when I said David Miscavige. Okay. Yeah, that was. If you missed it, love it. Someone was doing a stress test here in Burbank, and I picked up the cans, and I knew these people were from another country. And she said, do you have something that's stressing you? And I said, yeah, David Miscavige. And I knew the meter read because she looked at the meter, and I said, yeah, I'm OT7. I left. So I can't recommend it enough. Get out. Don't waste your life. But yeah, it's funny in that sense. I got you. Thank you for letting me know. Wow. David Miscavige. It's true. Monetized. Yep. 2 million followers. Love it. On TikTok in 3 days. We put it up 3 days ago, a 1-minute video. That's incredible. Oren CT, you posted some video and only got 56,000 views, so more than 3 million. You posted some, yeah, different ones had different amounts, but one of them has 2 million. And that's the one I'm talking about. Views, yeah. Hi, Tori. I didn't get kicked out of high school. Okay, good. I got the front groups. Oh, good. Oh, good. I stand alone. I'm so happy to hear that. I thought you got kicked out, and I was like, wow, that is not okay. Okay, good. Good. I'm really glad to hear that. Well, if you go right now to TikTok, you'll see one of them, and I'm in a black shirt, says 2 million. And that's it. That's the one. I don't really care about being a star. I care about kids getting educated about Scientology and why they shouldn't get into it, and people from other countries that they're snagging in. And, once they get them in the Sea Org, they take their passport away, so they can't get away. You know what I mean? So they need to know ahead of time. And that's what's important to me. Brett, Ken Moxon filed FOIA requests and used that to harass, stalk, and fair game people. Those are felonies. What does it take to convict him and debar him? Good question, Brett. It's really, ask Grant Barry. He'd know. He's worked a lot with Moxon. Is the church retaliating against you? They're always retaliating against me. That's their problem. Call ICE on them. Yeah. So make sure you hit the like button while you're here, because that moves everything up in the algorithms, which I'm learning the lingo of this internet. One day I'll get it all the way, but in the meantime, I'm working on it. Yeah. Make sure you have facts. Tiffany B., no church should have any right to take away passports. Exactly. Or break away families or stop free speech. Those are freedoms that are in our Constitution. It's pathetic. I hit the like button. Thank you, Brett. Hey, Mersey Dotes. Hi. What was your TikTok channel name? Tori Magoo 44. It's the same as here. Well, this one says Tori Christman, but it's really Tori Magoo 44. That's my YouTube site. And that's my TikTok site. There you go. So anyway, I'm sure I have no question they'll do some shitty stuff against me. They already started doing stuff. And each time they do it, I go, thank you for proving fair game. Because that's the truth. Someone puts, ooh, look at her eyes. I can't even see the whites of her eyes. Well, I can't see the whites of most people's eyes when I look at them, unless you're really close to them or it's good lighting. But I said, thank you for proving fair game. Yeah, only cults steal IDs. Exactly. Why would someone take your passport? That's pathetic. But they should know it ahead of time. See, all of us can let people know. If you talk to people and they're from other countries, just let them know. Say, hey, this is just an update for you. How long have you been in the country? A month, 2 months. Okay, there's a group called Scientology, and they're after people like you. Why? Because they work you to death. And one of the things they do right away is take your passport. So don't get into it. And as soon as they hear that they take your passport, they're like, no problem, not going to do it. In Scientology, evil comes first and foremost. Well, it's tricky to say that because it isn't really, and I always say that to people. A lot of Scientologists are really nice people. So if you just say evil comes first and then they meet these nice people, they go, well, that doesn't seem really true. But if you say the people are nice, but it's a mind control cult and they're in it. So if you've ever seen The Truman Show and ask them, have you seen The Truman Show? I have, exactly. And that's Scientology. That's how it is. So they can't see the walls. Only cults. Yeah, who would steal an ID? That's pathetic. I mean, honestly, I'm amazed that they do that. You would think our government would go, that's it. Your nonprofit status, because they're always charging for everything, is done. That's what should happen. Tiffany says, what is your point for Oren? Let me see, what was Oren's point? You just said they haven't. You just said they haven't what? You have to make it a full sentence because otherwise people like me don't know what you're talking about. The Scientologists I've met are pretty nasty. Okay. Maybe they can smell my SP karma. No, I'm just saying, you can have a neighbor who's a Scientologist and they're nice people. They're just regular people. It's just like I wasn't nasty when I was in. I wasn't. And people that knew me in or out thought I was pretty nice. Oren was trolling. Oh, okay. Good to know. Interesting. No point. Yeah, good to know. Thank you, love it. But I'm just saying it's good to point out it's mostly the executives and the people running the church that are really definitely evil. And unfortunately, the people go along with it. You said they haven't retaliated? Who are you talking to, Orange Sunshine? I didn't say they haven't retaliated. Username unknown. I would like to see your response today about the videos you have from your time in Scientology. Okay. Which one? Name it. Tiffany B. For sure, love it. Hey, Tori and Chad. Hi, Moose on the Loose. Scientology says not helping is integrity. I don't want to have them around. Okay. I'm not promoting Scientology. I'm just saying it depends on how you say it. And if you say just blanketly every Scientologist is evil, and some people have a doctor or a dentist who's a Scientologist that they like, or a neighbor, or a friend, and you say that, then automatically you become the person that's negated, not Scientology. If you say it's a huge trap and people get in it, they don't realize it's a trap and they can't get out. And that's what actually happens. And then they can ask you questions and then you can say, let's go talk to your neighbor. That neighbor won't be able to talk to me, I guarantee you. And that's proof that they stop free speech right there. Tiffany B. Yep. Scientology says not helping is integrity. Okay. I'm back. I was listening while driving. Hi, Sophie. Hi, Tori. Hopping over here to see you. Hi, June. Thank you for hopping over. Videos where you would go out and try to get the protesters to leave and explain that Scientology is a religion, no matter what specific one. I never thought Scientology was a religion ever. So I don't think I was out there saying it's a religion, or I might have, but even if I did, in my head, I never really thought of it as a religion. And there's, you can see the Magoo dancing in Boston, and that's me out there trying to handle the critics with Bunker there. And then there's another one with my husband. There's a few of them, but, what's your point? What are you trying to get out of me that I don't know? Because there's something. Most of the people that I've met in Scientology are really cool. Thank you, Sieglin. That's my point. That's all my point is, that there are a lot of nice people in it. There's people awful that run it, and there's no question about that. A lot of trolls tonight. Yep. Good point, Tori. I'm learning how to gather evidence. There you go, Brett. So many people on TikTok were asking you questions. Really interested folks. I know is really something. And you only have a minute to answer. So then tonight I did a live thing, and it was really funny because I didn't know how to get out of it. I haven't even seen it, but I think it's funny because I couldn't get out of it. Sophie, Tori, I think that person is asking how you think about watching the old videos of when you were in. What do you think of them now? I don't have a regret about Scientology. I never did anything that I felt was bad or I shouldn't have done it at all. I mean, when I was a Scientologist, and I did what I thought was right for Scientology. That's what happened. People think I'm going to go, that was really bad of me. I don't feel that way. The things that I did, first of all, a lot of things I wouldn't do, like going to Bunker's house with this picket sign that said something horrible that I won't even say. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that, because you're just pulling that out of your ass. You don't know that that's true, and it isn't true, and it wasn't true, right? So somebody else Dan Mernan went over there with his picket sign against Bunker, and Bunker put it on his website for, I think, 10 years or something. It was on there for a long time. And I thought, thank God I kept my own integrity in. I think because of epilepsy, my whole universe was different than a lot of Scientologists, because a lot of Scientologists do just kind of go along the program. But because of me and epilepsy, I had to fight them to stay alive. And so I'm different than a lot of different people. Why did I join? Because I read Dianetics. I already have explained this about 1,000 times. So go look on Tori Magoo 44, which is this site, type in escape and watch my escape series, and that will explain it to you. I'm not going to go over it again. What's a new saying? We listen and we don't judge. How much we can learn from that. That's good, Tiffany. I like that. Thanks for noticing they've been booted. All right, good. Fluff Reba. So anyway, Sophie, I know some people might watch things and feel bad about them, but I don't, because I never did stuff that I didn't feel bad about. I mean, I only would do it if I felt okay about it. And now, I mean, I watched one that a guy found, but even then, I mean, I don't want to get into it, but it was different. It was different. But I understood why I felt the way I felt. And he did too, finally. But it was heavy. It was in Ireland. I think it was in Ireland. Yeah, I think it was in Ireland. Whack-a-troll. Exactly. Sophie, they're so dumb with their brand new accounts. I stand alone. Tori did talks in Los Angeles and San Diego on her channel. Really good to watch. Yeah. Thank you, I Stand Alone. I appreciate that. I'm so happy you weren't kicked out of high school and that you got all the Scientology stuff kicked out. Fantastic. That is really, really good. Yeah, I have done. I mean, I've spoken out way before a lot of people. I mean, years before. I mean, a lot of people that speak out now were still in when I was speaking out. It was awful when I first left, because OSA was right there saying, "Don't trust her. She's really an undercover OSA agent," which they're still saying. Last Christmas, they did the "Don't trust Tori. She's a top secret CIA agent." Now I'm a CIA agent. OSA, you never learn. You never learn. And that's on you. That's not on me. So cool. I stand alone. I know it really is. Van Cunningham, Tales of Hyperkinetic Life. Wow. I went back and watched your early videos. They're really great. So brave. Thank you. Yeah, it was a wild time. It really was. I it really was, because it took a lot of courage to do what I did and to keep doing it, because I know I love that CIA hat. I do too. But with that many people attacking you, it's easy to go, I quit. This is too much. But I was like, no. If I can save one person from getting suckered into this cult, it's worth it. Whatever fair game they throw my way. And I feel that way to this day. With TikTok, I thought, all right, if I can help one person realize how bad these guys are and who they're after, that's worth it. And they're like, well, are they after you? And I'm like, they're always after me. So what? It's like, that's their problem. We all love the CIA hat. I know, me too. Tiffany, I always come back to troll old school protests and con men's sense can't and common men sense come together. Where can I get a hat like that? I don't know. Someone sent it to me, and I'll ask her. Somebody bought it for Tori. Yeah, they bought it for me. Very generous. Right on, Tori. All right. So Tiffany, you have to rewrite that. I always come back to Tori, old school protests and common sense come together. I think you're saying come together. Yeah. Thank you. That's what I feel. I've always been for common sense. That's my thing. And if you just think about it, that's the way common sense works. It's just, one time, I don't know if you guys heard this one, where my car broke down and I had to drive off the freeway into a huge gang area. And it was spooky. It really was. But I'll tell you what I did if you want to hear it. Where are the other 24,000 subscribers? They're out. I heard Aaron today mention that you can do Scientology services without being a Scientologist. How is that possible? How do they not convert you? What's the advantage for them to have both? Well, I think the one I know was Dianetics. I trained people in Dianetics, and then people started writing in going, we don't need to come to your seminars. We're clear. We got together and we co-audited and we're clear. And they canceled the whole program. It was like, typical Scientology. They're not going to make any money on it. Canceled. Out the door. But the rest of it, I mean, you can buy self-analysis and do that together. It's like you don't need to be in the Church of Scientology. You don't. So it's the way it is. All right. Gnome Sane. When do we get a call to call all the downtown Clearwater a Scientology front group? That's a good one. Very good. I think now. I think we're there. Sophie, yes, we want to hear about you in the gang area. Okay. Sieglin, I'm going to have to find it and keep the link. So many people have asked. Oh, what have they asked about? Ooh. Let's see, what did Sieglin ask about? Sieglin. Where can I get, the hat like that? Oh, so a lot of people have asked about it? Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Well, good. I'm glad. Okay, so what happened with the gang area is we were on a freeway, me and my son, and the car broke down. So I pulled off, and it was in a huge, area like the Bloods and the Crips. I mean, they were like hardcore gang guys. And thank you, love it. And Sophie says it's so disappointing that the Clearwater County has sold. I know. Yeah, that's good. Okay, good. So anyway, just to finish this story, so we pull off, and I know I'm screwed. These are gang members, hardcore gang members. So I jump out and I say, hey, everybody, come on, get over here. And they come over and I say, look, let's get a couple of things straight. My son's in the car. He was very young at the time. And I said, let's get a couple of things straight. You know, and I know that I'm screwed, right? I'm here with you guys. My car broke down. But I'll tell you what, I also know you guys can come up with a solution that would help me, if you will. I'm going to go to Jack in the Box. You tell me what you want. I'll go buy whatever you want. And then I'm going to come back and you tell me what the solution is. Okay? And they go, okay. And so I get out my notebook and I write down all the stuff they want. And my son and I go to Jack in the Box and we go over there. And we buy them all kinds of stuff, drinks and burgers and fries and all kinds of stuff. And we come back with it. And they're happy as can be. It's like, yay, great. And I said, so what do I do? And they said, okay, we figured out if you leave your car here, it's going to be stripped in about 15 minutes. But we're going to push it down to Sears and up into Sears parking lot because there's a guard there all night. So no one can hurt your car. And then tomorrow you can come back with your husband and get it. And I thought that was so cool. It was just such a cool thing. And it worked. They got their food and they were kind. And, so it just shows you have to work with people. That was common sense. It was like, I can't be against them. They own the area. I knew it. Anyway, yeah, Clearwater sold out for nothing new. They've been doing that for years. Standalone, so awful. Great, you exposed them. Yeah, that is really great. Good job. Good job. Truth about drugs, way to happiness, and CCH. Yeah, I know. It's true. You should write a book. That'd be good. Buffering here. Okay. At that time, Tory fed the starving gang members. Okay, Sophie, Tory, I love how you treat everyone the same. Gang members are people too. And you appeal to them as humans, not in judgmental. I'm the same as you. I know, and it works. It's like they are people. That's the thing. It's like, why, you just think when people are looked down on people and stuff, you just think, what possible good can come of that? Nothing. But look what happened. They got some food. They figured out what to do with my car. We got it in a safe place. They pushed it down the street, all of them. They pushed it down the street. I put it in neutral. They said, we'll push it. We pushed it and got it up into the parking lot. The security guard said, no problem. I'll watch it. It was really pretty cool. It was. It was like, wow. But I'm good at stuff like that. I'm good at emergencies. Way better than paperwork. I'm not good at paperwork. It's not my thing. All right, you rascals. Well, there's 57 here. And 55, it's 55 minutes we've been in here. And 57 people are here. Well, thank you guys for who came. Marzi Dotes. Wow. I would have been scared too. I have Auto Club. So I guess one could call them if the gang area, if you had it. I have Auto Club, but I knew by the time Auto Club got there, my car would have been toasted, and maybe we would have been too. It was not an area to screw around with. It wasn't like, oh, I'll call Auto Club, and this is their area. You know what I mean? You have to respect them. This is their area. It's like, don't call Auto Club or we're going to tear your car apart by the time they get there, the car will be gone and you and your son. That's the way I figure it. It's like, no, I'm not calling Auto Club. And they said that you can call Auto Club tomorrow and they can tow your car. They knew it. They knew I had Auto Club, but they also knew they owned the territory. And I respected that. Hey, Tiffany, thank you for becoming a new member. Woohoo. Thank you. That's cool. I appreciate that. Let me put a little star there. Good. A new member. All right. And make sure you subscribe too, so you get notifications. And Sophie, I know you're that way too. That's why we get along. All right, now wait a second. I used to work with the public Scientologist. She was young and very nice. She brought me a diabetics book or a Dianetics book. In love, it says, Sieglin, I can't find Tori's exact hat, but search cream fedora. That's good. Sophie says, Tori is the best. She's basically a gangster herself. That's right. Exactly. That is why I can get along with them. But she understands respect and humanity. Exactly. That's very true. I'm from Chicago. I am a gangster. I always have been. Thank you for supporting our Tori. Exactly. Thank you, Tiffany. That's really great. Really kind of you. I appreciate it. All right. We got a new member. New member. All right. Cool. Okay. Well, I hate to cut this short, but unless you guys have something, let's see. OSA could attract more gangsters to the orgs by hosting lock picking competitions or seminars, since they already have those skills. Now that is funny and actually a great idea if they'd listen to you, but they wouldn't. I stand alone. Sorry, meant the Dianetics book. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. Sophie, I love that, Tori. And that's definitely one reason we are friends. Exactly. It is, because we both respect and have dignity for other people and each other. All right, you munchkins. Well, anyway, unless you have blessings, I'm headed to bed. Me too. I am. I'm really tired. It's been a long day. Anyway, I love you guys, and thank you for coming. Thank you, Sophie. Thank you, Love It, for moderating. And peace be with you. I will see you guys late Friday night. I'm going to do the Midnight with Magoo on Friday night. Sweet dreams, Tiffany. Bye, June. Thank for all your hearts. Oh, how sweet. Very nice. All right, you guys. Peace out. And this is nice. You can just end the stream. There you go.